took a shower. I forgot to put it back on. So anyway, we get in the little, we leave the zoo, but we're still in the park, and they have the bike rentals, and you throw all the kids on there, and it's one of those quad bikes where I put the brats in the front, and then there's 4 cranks to pedal. So the 3 of us were pedaling, or at least I was. They were going through the motion, but oh god, it was tough because there's some hills in there, and we're trying to scoot around the park. So anyway, we're going down, and of course we go what I feel is the wrong way. We're on a little street, and I'm nervous, and cars are behind us, and then I look and I see 2 crows going after something. I'm like, great, they're probably going after a finch or something. And I always hate seeing that in the wild. And then I see an owl, and pretty owl, like white face and everything. And I'm thinking, well, that's a bird of prey. It's got to be knocking the crap out of these crows. But the owl was trying to fly away, and they kept on knocking it down. I'm like, great, So then I made the mistake of pointing it out to my kids, so they see it, and they're like, oh, let's go help them. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Something happens, a million times a day, but, you try to turn the other way. But no, they saw it, so I had to pull over, and my wife and my 12-year-old, they went and tried to shoo the crows away. So we get back they shoo the crows away, get back in the bike, and then, of course, the crows start going at him again. I'm thinking they're about to peck him and eat him while he's alive, and it's like, oh gosh, I can't have that in our conscience. So I'm like, all right, I go, Marie, give me your jacket. So I got her jacket, and we walked over there, and she wants to be a veterinarian, so she's all in, right? And I said, all right, there's the owl sitting there. It could kind of fly, but it can't. And I don't know if it's young or if it was hit by a car, whatever. So we got a job to do. So I told her to get in front of the owl. And I said, all right, you distract him. And I'm going to go from behind. And in my mind, the owl's just going to be staring at her. And I'm just going to put her coat over the owl. And, it's just going to, my kids will think I'm the greatest ever. And then I'm just going to walk away. So I get behind the owl. And Marie's in front of the owl making noise. And then the owl turns around while flying and kind of flies. It's this huge wingspan all of a sudden. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I should tackle it in the air or try to throw the coat on it. Because now people are watching too. And now I don't want to hurt the owl. So it comes at me. And it goes right next to me. I'm thinking, should I bat it out of the air? I'm like, no. So he's going slow enough to where I can follow him. And so you got the owl, and then me, and then the crows next to me, waiting for me to screw up. And then as soon as the owl landed, then I put the coat or the sweater over him. And then, of course, they put their wings out, and just awkward because now I didn't know which way the owl was faced. So I wanted to tuck the wings in, but I'm thinking, okay, I know these owls eat mice and stuff, and how hard is their beak? I was gonna say something else, but it'd sound bad. And I'm thinking, it could probably, come to find out later on that it's the talons that do the killing. That their pecker doesn't really do much. Anyway, so I'm getting the bird. I used to have a parrot, so I'm pretty good with handling birds when I go get it groomed. But I just didn't know which end was up because it was all white. So I finally tuck it in and get it squared away. And I know these things are usually a pain in the butt because it's like we've all had the animal, the cat that you rescued that got hit by a car, or the pigeon that was dying. And it's just nobody wants to deal with it and it's drama. But we're thinking stage 3 where the kids are thinking stage 1, just help the bird. So I finally get the bird and I go back to the cart, and now our cart's stuck on the side of the road. We have to push it out, and I got this bird in my hand, and I didn't know if it was, like I said, how close his beak was to my finger. So I'm kind of holding the football a little bit, pushing this tandem bike out. So I push it out, we get in the thing, and we start going. And of course, my 7-year-old's telling everybody we're saving an owl because we decided we're going to take it back to the zoo. And I knew the zoo probably didn't want to deal with it, but it's either that or learn how to raise an owl and go to Petco and start that whole thing and just buy mice in a cage and find out it's illegal to keep them, and then you have to take them to the vet. And so anyway, so we're taking the owl back to the zoo, and I walk. There's kind of a little line, and I walk up to the guy and I go, hey, I got this owl here. And I thought he was just going to be like, sorry, sir, no can do. He gets on his radio, he calls somebody else. So he's like, go stand over there. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. There's a little more, because we're so used to just being turned away for everything. So 2 park rangers come over, and they're like, okay, come in here. And it's like, wow, there's actual protocol for this. And so she pulled out a cage. She said she couldn't touch the animal because then she couldn't touch the other animals. So I put the bird in the cage, and it leads me to my point of this podcast for today. But so we put the bird in there, and I'm like, oh God, is it dead or overheating? Because I had it wrapped in this sweater, and I don't, now I'm thinking, great, hopefully I didn't kill the bird. So anyway, so I put the bird in there, and she's all, they can't do anything. They're not a rehabilitation center, so they call animal control. But they're all, thanks for doing it, because it did happen on the park. It is a bird of prey, so they had to get my information, and they actually were ready for this. And so I get in the before I left, she's like, oh, thanks, and then she gave me like some free tickets for a train ride there, and then to come back to the park. And I go, it's not why I do it, but it's kind of a nice bonus, and so anyway, so we left, and we had to go return the bike, and then on the way back I saw the animal control there, and so now I'm kind of curious what's going on with the bird. Is he dead? And as I left, I told her, I go, just wait till we get just far enough before you turn the wood chipper on. And because that's what I'm thinking is, okay, there's probably a lot of animals that come in, they don't have time to deal with all this. But lo and behold, here comes a 2015 F-250, all air conditioned, the animal control. They come, the guy comes out, he's holding a little bird cage thing, and it looked like he's he looks like he's special ops. They got the combat boots, and then the vest with all the little pockets. Thinking, gosh, it's just since when does everybody have to look like paramilitary now? It's crazy. So anyway, so I go, hey, how's the bird? He said, oh, it's fine. It's just young, and they'll do whatever, and then probably let it go. And I don't know if he's saying that just because he knew my daughter was there and didn't want to say, no, that's, that wood chipper thing is not a bad idea after all, or is it really doing well? But I don't think he's going to lie, because I kind of pressed him on it. So anyway, so he gets in his little vehicle, or the F-250, and funny is, as he left, the thing's so big, he actually hit a wood post on the way out. And so it was one of those things where, since I was talking to him, I saw him turning, I saw him hit the pole, and it's like I kind of looked away because I didn't want to embarrass him, and he had to put in reverse and get out of there. But so my point is, where else in the world can that happen, to where there's a protocol for birds of prey or whatever? Here's a bird. They pick up a phone call, and a guy comes in a new to use F-250 and picks it up, and it goes, and there's a system for it. And I'm thinking, everywhere you go in this country, there's a system for things, and other people, smart people, are figuring things out, and you got all these things working in the background. I remember I was in Maui one time, and riding down the volcano, and there's a satellite or radar dome at the top of the hill, and he said that the tour guide said that this is one of two places here in Alaska, at least on this side of the United States, where they have satellites for Star Wars to direct where the anti-ballistic missile program, because probably I would imagine Russia was the threat, so they put them over here, and I'm thinking, I forget this stuff even exists. And he said this will be the best paved road you're ever on because they have to get to it and they got to get to it fast. And I'm thinking, that's right. There's all these things in place. So while we're arguing about stuff and, this person's this or this person's a homophobe and this person's that, it's like, I always say we can afford to worry about that stuff because we take care of everything else. All these other things are in place. We worked hard for it. People had to die in a lot of wars to have these nice things. Yeah, I hate paying a lot of taxes, but at least we get something in return in this country for it. And just like that bird. I mean, this bird is taken care of from soup to nuts. And so, people can say, oh yeah, Americans, they want to build the wall and this, that, and the other, but that's because we built something super nice here. And, we could go out. Of course, the other thing I was thinking of too is if you had a really big scoop and like a backhoe, super big, and you were to take that park, scoop it up, and dump it off in Compton or just any city that's just ran by our wonderful mayor Garcetti, or how long would that last too? Because of I think, like I noticed in Irvine, a lot big Asian community and a lot of families there, and people they just that, their families, their husband and wife and kids. So guess what? You don't have the graffiti, and you don't have the things that you would typically find in a bad part of town. And, because of that, you can have nice things. A wonderful park. I mean, that park reminded me of Disneyland. And so what's the difference? And it's not race or, people say, oh yeah, you're a racist. Well, that's fine. Call me whatever. I don't care. But the point is, you have this nice city with this nice park, and then you go to a park in LA and it's just right now, I'm leaving a bad part of Long Beach. You see prostitutes on the side of the road in the middle of the day. It's a Monday. And I'm thinking, it goes back to that thing of families. A husband, a wife. Husband gets mad at the kid when he screws up. And more than anything else, because, certain parts of Orange County, it's changed over the years. It used to be this demographic, now it's that, this nationality, that now it's that. But the one common thread it's always had is because it's more expensive, you have to have an established family. Typically, those are the ones that can afford it. And typically where you have low rent, HUD, and rent control types of housing, it's broken families. And that's where you get the crime, and that's where everything trickles down. But it's like, why cannot we just talk about, hey guys, this thing is not working. One, we got to be nice to everybody. We got to educate everybody. And no, you just reward the good. Sure, help the bad, but help them. Don't enable them. And it just, I guess it couldn't be more obvious. Yesterday when you see that contrast, and today too, in a different part of the state, it's you see everything going on, but yet you cannot comment on it. And I don't think that's a good thing. When you can't call bad things bad, I think that's the only thing left that's gonna stop the bad, is when we could call it bad and then do something about it. But forget doing something about it. But if we can't even talk about it, we're even another step removed from doing something about it. So I just pray that we will be smart enough to say, hey, in these areas, where these things are not addressed like they should, it just gets worse. It grows like a cancer. And those people, they're not any better off.